I would have been totally on board to watch Ahsoka otherwise because I was really into the first 2 seasons of Mando.
It's tough to know until we watch it, but obviously we've seen in the trailers they have the scene from the end of Rebels, which, by the way, they've fucking already like retconned. It's Dave Filoni, so it's to be expected. I don't know exactly when they're gonna start it and when we're gonna see that scene or what the fuck's gonna happen, so it's tough to know.
It's really weird because one of the major embargoes was lifted. A lot of the real reviews came out instead of the like the
Social
shill
media
ones.
reactions.
And even Grace Randolph was like, I don't know if this is going to be good. Sluggish, stock Disney spinoff. There's this one, lacks Andor ambition. I've been seeing a lot of people that love Andor and hate this show. Disney's latest Star Wars outing is flat, flimsy, and devoid of life. Yeah,
and
it's
to
like
be clear, it's probably what, like 85 Rotten Tomatoes score or something right now.
roughly. This one here, it says it presents a story of strong women. Most of their men are off-screen men rather than being any self-definition. I'm all for girl power, but there's no men in this. She said it makes it seem like they took all the women and put them in their own corner and had to do their own show.
I
So
almost
it's
kind of like that better. And I may be kind of the more unpopular opinion on this, but I actually love girl power stuff and girl boss stuff, but it has to be done right. I mean, clearly I'm a huge Lara Croft fan, classic Lara Croft fan. But my problem, and that's one reason that really like got me beefing with a lot of modern stuff, is because I always have loved girl power stuff with anime, with video games and this. And then that's the one thing that they've desecrated and ruined so much with modern entertainment. So when I hear girl power, it's like, oh, I might actually like this, but knowing how they're doing things lately, I don't know. But if there's not as many dudes in it and it's not at the expense of dudes, like, oh, it's like a competition, they have to prove themselves better than the dudes, and it's just, hey, here's a bunch of women kicking some butt. I mean, I might like it.
And to like, I guess, provide some kind of like a little devil's advocate to Grace's review, I guarantee you Grace Randolph hasn't watched Rebels. So if you're just coming from having no idea, you haven't watched Rebels, and you just get thrown in, you're like, wow, look at all these fucking women. All these women were in the Rebels series. You know what I mean? They're going to try to find somebody else who is the star of the series who's missing, right? Disappeared with Grand Admiral Thrawn. So I can get that, but I don't think it's going to be done well. Certainly. I've been talking about that for a while.
She did say that it would be beneficial for you to watch Rebels to understand what's going on in the show.
I personally don't have a problem with that. I was watching Film Threat talk about it, and Alan was basically like, I don't know anything about it. Why do I have to watch Rebels? I was like,
that's how something should be.
There is a difference between at least having some sort of very short synopsis in some way. Like if you don't even understand who Ezra Bridger is, right? And they're just talking about Ezra and finding Ezra, and you have no idea anything these people, I haven't seen it yet, but that's just kind of what it sounded like they were coming from the perspective of. That through 2 episodes, you have no idea who Ezra is and why they're important. So to not have at least something in there for the people that didn't watch Disney XD 10 years ago.
But I think that's the same.
Unrealistic.
But I'm saying specific to a show. If a show is intertwined in a universe that has fans and everything, I don't care if you're making anything for the person that knows nothing about it. I care if you're making something that the people that know about it know about it. I don't give a shit about the people that don't know about it.
I guess to me, that's something as simple as in the Super Mario movie, them just talking, like name dropping Bowser and not explaining it all, like who he is or what he is.
But that was a lot of the criticisms.
You know what I mean?
That was a lot of the criticisms of people are like, this doesn't explain a lot of this in the Mario movie. That was a lot of the criticisms from people that were turned off by it. And that's what I said. I said about the Mario movie, I'm like, if you don't know Mario, you're not going to know what the hell, like, this is not going to make any sense to you whatsoever. But I like that. And I think we need more of that. We need more things that are geared to the specific audience that it's made for, not some rando that like, oh, well, new people need to understand that. Fuck the new people.
Yeah, I go back because the only decent recent example is, Picard season 3, where there were things thrown in there. It's like, if you didn't watch Star Trek The Next Generation, if you didn't watch the movies, like, you weren't going to understand that shit, and it wasn't made for you anyway.
Yeah,
it was made for the fans at that point, because after a certain point, if you've invested literal decades in this shit, like I'm sorry, like, you can't just jump in. You can, like, I want more people to enjoy it, but I'm not necessarily gonna roll out the red carpet. It's like, go and watch this shit. It's already out there.
I think that there's an appropriate balance to make something that is clearly intended for a wider audience versus something that was a niche audience. And like, to at least, I'm not talking about writing everything out or holding someone's hand through it, but at least have some sort of 30-second like understanding of who this person is and why they might be important to something. maybe that does get them to go back and watch that thing. But
I
when you're taking something that's a fucking small niche and then all of a sudden taking that thing and expecting a wide general audience to know what you're talking about, I think
when you
have
have
to
a
use your
streaming
fucking head.
I think when you have a streaming service though, and all the content is exclusive to your streaming service, an easy way to resolve that is just to promote the previous series that explains everything constantly before the new one comes out.
Well, yeah, unfortunately they did. They said the must-watch Ahsoka content is like 50 episodes of Clone Wars, all of Star Wars Rebels, and all our episodes of Mandalorian and Boba Fett. So they did like a list of the need to watch before Ahsoka, but it's like 50 episodes.
At this point, if they can do woke bullshit, like I don't really care. Like just if you give it to the fans, like who gives a shit about the normies when you were alienating everyone before?
Right.